Big news after hours. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky. If you guys did not see, Intel reported earnings today after the market closed. And even after, if you guys did not see, even after actually beating expectation for earnings, the stock originally fell 6% despite stronger than expected earnings. As of right now, including overnight hours, but even just during extended hours, it is down 12%, a significant pullback. And my question to you, the reason I'm talking about it is, well, in tomorrow's live trading session, I want to ask myself, hey, is this something that I possibly want to buy the dip on? Because do I see there to be recovery potential, right? And for those that want to entertain the bull case, again, maybe something to look into. It offers about 15 to 16% of recovery from current lows to previous highs? Or is this the beginning of the end? Where if you actually look at what was reported, this is the part that just baffles me, is that the earnings per share was 15 cents for the EPS. Revenue was 13.7 billion. Sure, it sounds fine, but I just feel like not enough people have access to this, and maybe it's why people often overlook it. Intel is a very well-established business, right? It is not a business that is growing any longer. Its revenue is good. Its net income is terrible. 206 million when it produces 53 billion in revenue. PE ratio is absolutely wild. Like, again, that is a comma. 1,367.5 times its earnings. I don't think you understand how insane that is. This is worse than Tesla. This is worse than PLTR. This is worse than really almost any one that I've seen before. The reason why is because of the Trump administration stepping in and saying that they are taking a stake in Intel, and supposedly that is supposed to now help Intel succeed. The reason Intel sold off, even after beating earnings per share and revenue, is their guidance, their outlook. Remember, we've said this before. No one really cares about Intel, at least not many people that I know, right? Everyone knows it's kind of a bullshit company, and that is running off of the hype of the gimmick. If you go to Investing Pro and you click on Pro Research, you'll have access to this, where you can actually get an in-depth look on this company's revenue quarter after quarter after quarter. I can look back to 2021 to all the quarters that we now have today. A very simple question. Is this a growing company? Heck no. Are you kidding me? This is a declining business, and they are trying to do anything and everything to try to push it to elevated levels where, again, the valuation does not actually align with the actual business itself. There's a discrepancy, and that is where the PE ratio comes in. That's me getting really into it. At the end of the day, if you think it's a good deal long term, please be my guest, buy it, right? But when you look at this actual business and you look at the declining guidance, just everything about this, the way that it produces revenue, the cost, one of the main reasons that it was expected to, or the reason that it saw a significant downturn was that it's softer guidance for up and coming quarter, right? For Q1 of 2025. Because remember, the quarter that it's reporting is Q4 of 2025. So for Q1 of 2026, they are expecting a worse than expected quarter. Guidance is often more important, in my opinion, than past quarters that they're even reporting, because a company we've seen before can report terrible earnings, but if they have good guidance for up and coming quarters, the stock can still skyrocket. Intel said that it has a net loss of 600 million or 12 cents per diluted shares in the year ago period. Intel reported a net loss of 100 million and 3 cents per share. I don't know anything about this that is actually encouraging, other than the hype and the possibility by this being partnered with the Trump administration that, again, it's supposed to make the business succeed. DJT is a great example. That's Trump's stock. It's a bullshit company. Please understand the difference when hype is present versus a fundamentally growing and sound company. There is a reason why prior to the Trump administration stepping in and causing this stock to go from $20 per share to $60 per share, I can see why, if your dollar cost average is down here, why you're incredibly excited. Even after a 12% pullback, I'm sure that you're still ecstatic because your dollar cost average is, your average price is super attractive. I respect that. You got in good. At these elevated levels, this is not a good deal. The only people that should possibly be buying this are those that know how to trade it, right? Because it's all based off of momentum. There's still money to be made. Money can be made doing anything, right? Look at all the meme coins out there. I'm never here to say that with even bullshit stocks that you can't make money off of going long on them. That's not the case because it could find a support and it could continue to rally because irrational markets support irrational valuations. We've said that. Don't get it twisted, right? But you can't be surprised when reality begins to sink in. Again, I called it out when it came down to MicroStrategy, and I called it out when it came down to HIMS. It's always the most irrational stocks with insane valuations that will crash the hardest during uncertain times. If we do enter an uncertain time, I'm not saying that we will, but if we do, stocks like Intel with insane valuations from what they actually produce in net income, $200 million, to what they're currently valued at. Let's go ahead and pull it up. Market cap right now is $259 billion. So again, it's a company that produces just a little shy over $200 million in net income, yet it has over $250 billion in perceived value. There's a discrepancy there. You're paying a premium. That's where this number comes in. 1,300 times its earnings. Even with, how people sometimes talk about NVIDIA being overvalued. Sure, but the overvaluation is 45, right? Even one that's pretty crazy is PLTR. PLTR, if we pop it up right here, 361 times. Still paying a premium, but not 1,300 times its earnings. When you type in Intel, again, I'm just showing you the data. I'm just showing you the numbers. You can take it as, don't get offended by it. I just want you to see. So hopefully you can make a more informed decision. You can do your own analysis, right? You guys all have access to Investing Pro if you want to check it out. It's the first link in the description down below. But I just wanted you to understand why. Why did it sell off even after it beat earnings? Why is guidance so important? And what is actually happening in the background, right? Very simple. I think this chart speaks volumes, right? It shows that its revenue quarter after quarter is no longer growing. And remember, when you invest in the stock market, investors want to invest in companies that are showing signs of growth. Intel is an established business that has been failing for years. From the highs of $67, it has crashed to lows of $20, not because it was a victim, but because it no longer was a successful growing business. It was losing its competitive edge to companies like AMD and NVIDIA, right? You could see that when this retracement really began to take place in 2022. If we pull up NVIDIA, if I'm not mistaken, this is really when in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, this is really when we began to take off for NVIDIA. I mean, NVIDIA has been bullish for quite some time, but nonetheless, it's really cool to see how there's been a shift, right? There are moments that Intel does rise and does spike, just like we saw in early 2024, but it always corrects. It does spike, but eventually it always corrects. Again, I'm not here to encourage you to sell if you actually see value in this and you have a reason to. I'm just here to make you aware of previous patterns, how it tends to pull back, and on the fundamental side, how it's trading at a premium versus what it's valued at in comparison to what the company actually produces in net income. At that point, I don't believe many people would be surprised that fast forward a few months from now, especially if any uncertainty does begin to present itself, that Intel can return back to previous levels of $30 to $20 per share. Again, not trying to convince you, just making you aware in hopes that you take risk into consideration. So maybe if you're leveraged, maybe you'll be less leveraged. I do not think, especially with irrational valuations like this, if you want to be invested, that's on you. But please reconsider being leveraged. That means borrowing money to invest in speculative assets or companies that are trading at a huge premium. Nonetheless, it's definitely going to be a stock that we're going to be talking about tomorrow in our live trading session. And I might even consider going long on it as a day trade, because day trading it is very different than investing into it. I would never in a million years invest into Intel at $50 per share. It's just not worth it. It's not a good deal. The company is not there and not anytime soon. Would I trade Intel? Of course. It could have possibly overreacted as it sold off 12%. And if the price action supports a reversal, I'll go long on it. I'll trade anything if price action supports it. Very different than investing into it. I want to invest in good quality companies, fundamental companies that are fundamentally strong and growing and that are good deals, the big missing piece of Intel. On top of that, wanted to share the news with you guys when it comes down to Trump. Supposedly, Trump says a large fleet of U.S. warships are moving towards Iran. Just wanted to make sure that you are aware, because anytime that there's uncertainty injected into the market, we tend to see retracements due to the volatility. On top of that, we're still about a month away from the postponed date, which is now February 20th. But Trump says that he will issue dividends if he wins the Supreme Court tariff case. For those that do not know, he began to offer the idea of these dividend checks to taxpayers if you qualify, if the Supreme Court rules these tariffs legal. I really just think it's a creative way that his team is trying to sway the American public to side with him so they can hopefully get these dividend payments. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's because I think there's such a high probability that these tariffs are set to be marked as illegal. And again, the reason I'm talking about it is because in this ruling, regardless if it's legal or illegal, we have no control over what it is and how it is that they, decide on that. But markets will react, and it's very important that we pay attention to it, because if we do have to pay back the billions of dollars already collected, it could create more uncertainty into the market, right? And inject that into the market. So definitely something that I'm trying to watch closely. But again, that is not until February 20th when they are supposed to decide on this ruling. So I'll make sure that I do my part in keeping you up to date. And all you have to do is subscribe for updates. Again, I hope to see you for our live trading session tomorrow. For those that did not see, my only trade today was my trade with, what was it? Yeah, Oklo. Oklo made $3,100. I did my trade recap with my LPP team. A lot of consolidation, really nothing crazy. It hit the lowest point within the first hour and kind of just traded within range. Same highs right around the resistance of 92 to 92.50 and a slight support right around 90.50. So by being able to short from the highs, cover at the lows, short from the highs and cover at the lows, or if you wanted to go long, buy the dip, sell the highs, buy the dip, sell the highs, right? Overall, $3,100 on the day. Closed out my position fully and excited to see what present itself tomorrow. I hope to see you for our live trading session whenever you're ready to tune on in. Second link in the description down below will give you access to that live session starting tomorrow. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.